Oh, another latest news coming from the Union of Change in Cameroon states that the Union for Change declared Issa Chuma Bakari the winner with over 60% of votes. The Union of Change 2025 coalition, which backs Issa Chuma Bakari candidacy, released on Tuesday what is described as the real results. So, the association, the union, Union for Cameroon, they call and say Union of Change, they don't release the final result where it be where it shows the Issa Chuma Bakari win as all we see for Cameroon, diaspora, and all over the result. Then where Issa Chuma Bakari, a party don't release all from every indication, from every proof. It shows the Issa Chuma Bakari don't win. But the people that only want to rig the election, carry and gain for President Paul Biya, say na wait, say who's would he go for the country? Who's would he go? Why it be say the Constitutional Council for Cameroon not the one respect the people's vote, the people's choice, the people's wish? Why? Why una the one respect the people's choice? Una check say if then give Pobia these 7 years before he go do it later. Before he go do it wait for 43 years, he never be able for do one. Why? Why the greed? Why the corruption? Why the bribery? Why the embezzlement? Una never embezzle enough. Una never take money enough. Una never thief enough. Cameroonians, then they beg, then they on their knees, then they beg, say, Mona, release the real results where all man know. Then they beg, say they need a change in Cameroon. That is what Cameroonians are begging for. Is that too hard for you people to do? Are we asking for too much? Are we asking for too much?
My people, the Union for Change has declared a verdict of this election, saying Issa Chuma Bakari has won Paul Biya by 60%. Even if Issa Chuma is defrauded of this election, this is one thing I want every Cameroonian to understand. The picture I can paint to describe Cameroon, it's like thieves coming together to find justice. That for over 9 years, people have been dying in the northwest and the southwest, and the country stays quiet, and they want justice on the day of election. And everybody is emotional, and we want the world to hear us. Now, a group of people came out in Tinga, Yaoundé, to demonstrate. It has started in Yaoundé as we speak. Black people, God never made us to be deceptive people. That is why every time we try to be deceptive among one another, the implications are really severe. You understand? Now, words carry political, legal, and psychological implication. Let me show you one example. And never forget for your entire life that Issa Chuma is coming from the north, the same area where Amadou Ayijo comes from. Now, we'll be educating our people, right? It's nothing to be angry about. Fair? We'll be educating our people. And I'll show you one example, because we are in this mess today because of Amadou Ayijo and the idea that he had in his mind about building a country. So I'm not confused about what is happening at the surface level. We always go back to foundation. Fair? Now, let me show you something. When you look at the word reunification, that is a word commonly used in Cameroon. That is a linguistic coup d'etat. Because everything you see manifesting through people's behaviors and actions always started with something that was said, something that was written, and then people pick that along, and then that brings about the chaos that we see. Fair? So the word reunification, that was a word that was ignorantly created by Amadou Ayijo. Ignorance. Even their university professors use that word reunification. That word reunification ought not to exist in 1972 or 20th May that we celebrate every year. Deception. Amadou Ahidjo from the north created that foundation. Some Anglophones have demonstrated that their ancestors were stupid to say this union has an issue. And let's not continue with these people because of their ignorance and dishonesty. And so we want to create some magic and want to put God on it. When things are hard in your life, always ask, what did I do? What am I not doing that has led me to where I am today? Now, there are some circumstances that are beyond human control, but you have to exhaust every option within your control before you say, God, we've done everything. What is happening with us? Fair? Now, during the plebiscite, the UN plebiscite question that was asked to Southern Cameroonians, it said, do you wish to achieve independence by joining, not rejoining? Fair? So this means the UN recognized two separate trust territories, not one country being restored. Some people carry the idea of German Cameroon. These are colonial enforcers in this region, and you want the blessings of God, that we were one under German Cameroon. If we were one under German Cameroon, the question would have been, do you choose to gain independence by rejoining the Federal Republic of Nigeria or the Republic of Cameroon? That would have been the question. No, but do you choose? So that indicates we are two separate entities. Fair? So joining implies creating a new relationship. Rejoining implies returning to an old one. These are linguistic dishonesty or linguistic ignorance. That is why I say from today moving forward, Anglophones, you have to be guiding the Francophones on language. That is a good foundation. Guide them on principles, policies, on exactly what to do. Reunification is a word created in this country that is used even by university professors in La République du Cameroun. Reunification. Do you understand? So the Fumban Conference banner of July 1961 said, Vive le Cameroun unifié. Long live a unified Cameroon, not reunifié. So this shows the delegation themselves knew it was a new federation, not a restoration of an old union. 20th May, we celebrate reunification. That is deception, ignorance, and this is a linguistic coup. Because it always starts with the wrong word. Describing your situation using the wrong language. And that is why I caution us and I say, we are restoring, we are not seceding. Issa Churuma visited Bamenda and said, we'll go back to federation. And there is no proof a federation existed in Cameroon. Dishonesty. So it's like thieves coming together and trying to find justice. Try. Do all you can. God can never bless that. So start educating yourselves on what I'm sharing on this platform, both in the Anglophone zone and the Francophone zone, and do the right thing. And then the blessings of God will come. If not, the pain will continue. The election will be rigged. You will cry and go nowhere. Fair? But when you start doing the right thing, blessings will come. So it says, Vive le Cameroun unifié. Long live a unified Cameroon. This is what the 1962 commemoration invitation said. Fête de la Unification. Festival of Unification. Now, Amadou Ahidjo later changed that to reunification. in 1972, and it is still used till today. This is an international propaganda and a linguistic coup. By introducing reunification, Ahijo rewrote history retroactively to justify the 1972 unitary state and erase the separate identity of the British Southern Cameroons. So this is ignorance. They don't understand language. I don't care if they are thinking they are trying to deceive us. This is what you create. A terrible society for your children to live in. They are francophones. They go to bars today to talk about how we were one under Germany. So our destiny was created by colonial masters. And I want to make it as clear as I can. The United Kingdoms of Tikar existed before German colonization. Ahijo and most of the leaders in that era were programmed with this colonial mindset from the German era, and that trickled down during the independence of Cameroon. And there are Cameroonians today going around saying we were one under Germany. These are colonial enforcers, and they will sit again and talk about France attacking us, France taking everything that we have, but you will see them talking about we were one under Germany. That is deception. This is a colonial programmed individual that they believe that our history started with the colonial masters in Germany. This is a black man thinking this way. You see what I'm saying? And hence the idea of reunification. So Ahijo and most of the leaders in that era were programmed with this colonial thinking. And we have to educate them out of that colonial thinking. So when you see them, don't think they know too much. Teach them. They said, do you choose to gain independence by joining? He heard, do you choose to gain independence by rejoining? And hence, reunification. This is very important. Do you understand? We'll keep listening. But my people, this is time for us to face the truth. There's a lot of work to be done, right? History to be rewritten, adjustments to be made. We don't sit here and say the best has happened. No, the best is yet to come. And then we sit down, adjust whatever they made, right? Based on their colonial mindset, and then create a better society moving forward. You see what I'm saying? So the United Kingdoms of Tikar, we existed before the German era. Let me help you. If your history started in Berlin, ours started before Berlin Conference, before German colonial rule. You get it? So from there, we were two separate entities. Southern Cameroons was initially an integral part of Nigeria, came out of Nigeria. We were a separate UN trust territory. La Republique, you had your independence in 1960. Through a plebiscite, we voted to join. That union was never ratified. Until today, there is no union treaty binding us. Our people are demanding restoration, not secession. If the North, for example, say they want their independence right now, that is secession within La Republique's jurisdiction. We are not seceding. We are restoring. So he was just playing with words, went on to say, oh, now it's reunification. Whatever he was thinking, just going along with the flow. But whatever you're doing, since there was no union treaty, whatever you changed, whether Paul Biya changed the name from the United Republic of Cameroon to the Republic of Cameroon, that is their business. Play with it as long as you can. But the reality is, since there is no union treaty, we don't have a union yet. This is law. And without that, you can go back to think of the German era. this is slavery. It means we have to go back and bring Congo, all the other nations that were part of that German Cameroon. How about that? Let's go find a way to bring back these nations together. Equatorial Guinea, part of Nigeria, go in there. If you want to create German Cameroon, that is German Cameroon. Because some people don't know how German Cameroon look like. You have to go back and carve those territories that are part of Nigeria that was part of German Cameroon and add that to Cameroon. Fair. You have to go on to add the parts of Chad that was part of German Cameroon, Central African Republic, Gabon, and the Republic of Congo. There are some portions that were part of German Cameroon. If you want to create that, make sure you advocate for the creation of German Cameroon. So this is the deception, and we want justice in that system. Some people go around and they believe that we are part of German Cameroon, and so the reunification is going back to the era of German Cameroon. Make sure that you go around and bring back all the territories that were part of German Cameroon. How about that? We cannot live in a world that way. We cannot. That is sheer ignorance. Again, those from the southern Cameroons, you have to educate these people on these events because they don't know. They don't know what German Cameroon looks like. Being a colony under Germany looked like. They don't understand the difference between trust territories under the United Nations and German colony. They don't know the difference. So you educate them on that. Fair. And then you go on to say this was unification and not reunification. And you teach them how to use English or how to use language. Because this is a coup. It always starts with language. We change the meaning of words and then we change the situation in the real world. And as you use that word reunification, you are enforcing your own subjugation. So you teach them. It's both ignorance, right? Thinking that you can maybe annex a people this way. Again, I caution the government of Cameroon to withdraw your troops from the United Kingdoms of Tikar, what you are calling Northwest. Withdraw your troops from our land. And we need protest around the country on this. Protesters, go on the street, tell your government to withdraw their troops from the United Kingdoms of Tikar, Northwest. Peace will start in this country because our ancestors are awake and you will have no peace, no jobs. Your elections will keep getting rigged. You will keep having dictators that will come in with the agenda to hold the peace in this country. And with that, you will go nowhere and your children will continue to suffer. And only the few who understand how to play this game, right, will keep benefiting from the system.
We have no roads in Cameroon. We have no good schools. We have no hospitals. We have all the resources it takes for us to be great, but we don't have anything. Cameroon is Africa in miniature, yet we don't have anything. We have crisis, no peace, nothing. Yet some people think only about themselves and their pockets. Chai, I beg. We beg. Cameroonian use they beg. Say na pity them. They beg na beg. Say don't too much. They want my last draw, my last breath. This is what they use. If Cameroon fail we, the youth, then this time around, or change nationality.
We have a lot of energy like this to maybe cry about change that we desire. Let's use this energy to push the truth that I'm sharing on this platform. Use this energy to let the world know that this is the situation we find ourselves in. Our predecessors were ignorant about the history, ignorant about language, and they created a mess for us, and we are rising up to correct that. How about that? That is a good place to start. And this is what colonialism has done to us, and we want to make that adjustment. It's not about fighting France. It's not about fighting the United States of America or fighting Germany or fighting Britain. No, we want to make that adjustment. And we rise up as mature adults and make that adjustment. The human beings in this place will not follow this route. We want to go create that election and hope that it saves us. No, God will never bless you. Your ancestors were not stupid. You see these leaders that emerged, that change must happen, they are not stupid. If you have a voice to talk about the Cameroon election, use that voice to preach on what I'm sharing on this platform. And this will bring about true change in this country. We are going to look at what is happening in Tikar in Yaoundé. A group of protesters came on the street saying Issa Churuma won the election. But before we do that, I want you to imagine this, that you want to jump on a tall building. You know the consequences when you jump, and you are praying that God help me, that this decision that I am about to make, bless me in it. Try that and tell me how it feels. Now let's look at what is happening in Tikar Yaoundé. Fair?
Voilà le gars, on est en train de réclamer la vérité des jeunes. On est à Yaoundé, parler des sports, les gars. Les gars, mobilisez-vous, sortez, 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 sortez partout. On est là, on est en train de protester. On veut la vérité de la jeune.
So that is what is happening in Tikar and Yaoundé. So a group of people came out saying Issa Churuma won the election. We've heard about what the Union for Change in Cameroon is saying about the presidential election, that Issa Churuma won by 60%. Fair? Again, let's see how this goes. But I told you initially that even if Issa Churuma won the election, they would have kept the result. Issa Churuma would have kept the result and wait for this country. The fact that you have to run around protecting your ballot box tells you there is a problem with the foundation in this country. The fact that you have to declare yourself the winner, that means the institutions in this country cannot be trusted. The fact that you have to protest after an election tells you the foundation is broken. The fact that you have to cry on social media and beg a government to give you victory tells you that everything in here is corrupt. The foundation is broken. Let's fix it. Without a good foundation, forget about whatever you're building. This is 43 years. It will continue and nothing will change because you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And again, the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot unlearn what you have learned and then relearn. Those are the illiterates of the 21st century. Some people think because they can read and write, that makes them literate. The fact that you can read and write does not make you a literate in the 21st century. The illiterates of the 21st century are those who cannot unlearn what they have learned and then relearn something new. Those are the illiterates of the 21st century. Alvin Toffler. Now, we were two separate trust territories under the UN. Write that down, never forget it. We were never one sovereign state under Germany. Write that down. Sovereign state. German colony is different from a sovereign state. So teach our Francophone brothers this. And the Francophones who understand English, learn this. These are fundamentals to building a thriving nation. So we choose to join, to form a federation, not to rejoin an old union. Write that down, never forget it. Truth will set you free, not propaganda, not colonial conditioning, but truth. And no union treaty was ever signed or deposited at the UN. We've scanned the UN archives. There is no union treaty. So go question the foundation of this country, question your leaders, and tell them that we demand justice and truth because we want a better future for our children. The fact that things are not working here, my people, it should tell you that there is something you don't know, number one, right? The foundation is broken. Fair. Every time you are struggling in life and you don't understand what is going on, assume you don't know. To agree that you know and things are not working, that is error. If things are not working, there is something you don't know. And if there is something you don't know, you have to have an open mind to something that you do not know about. Learn, relearn something new. So that is still in Tinga in Yaoundé. Or is it Chinga? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Is it Chinga or Tinga? However, it's in Yaoundé. Fair? Therefore, since there is no union treaty, there is no legal basis for the phrase reunification du Cameroon. That is a deceptive phrase. Unification du Cameroon, fair. Reunification du Cameroon, that is a deceptive phrase and a faulty foundation for Cameroon. Right? It is a political fiction. Write that down. Sustained by repetition. Professors, they repeat it. Scholars, intellectuals, they repeat it without questioning it. And humans can be programmed like this over time. And then we expect change, fairness in that kind of a system. Now let's go ahead and continue with what is happening in Chinga and Yaoundé.
C'est les nordistes qui vont brouiller les choses. Il faut qu'on les laisse passer, non? Je te dis.
They are saying it's probably the northeast that are on the street in Yaoundé. It's the northeast. I told you how divided this country was, right? Again, if the northeast say they want their own nation, that is secession. If we of the United Kingdoms of Tikar want the La République armies out of our territory, that is restoration. A restoration of sovereignty. With the Northeast, that is secession within La République's jurisdiction. Fair? Now, let's keep watching.
Ils réclament la victoire des Saint-Chiroma. Voilà ça. Avec leur pancarte. Laissez-les passer. Oui. Ça, il y a qui a la briqueterie.
I told you it's going to be tense in this country. Because now, individuals that are building on a faulty foundation want justice. That is tough. We will create the lie, but we will want to find justice within that lie that we have created. We are ignorant about what is going on, but somehow we want God's blessings within these activities that we are perpetuating, that we know or not know that this is falsehood. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So we go back to fundamentals, education. And this will help bring about transformation. Life and death is in the power of the tongue and not in the guns. They believe so much in their military. And my goal is to change the battleground from the hands to the mind. When we change the battlefield true transformation will come without bloodshed, and we will learn how to live in a civilized world. And this corruption will no longer be part of our lives. For instance, the biggest credit union in Cameroon, Ntarinkon Cooperative Credit Union, comes from Bamenda. Finance indicates trustworthiness. I believe that we in the Northwest still have some work to do. But if we are the most credible people in this country, that tells me how terrible this nation is. Because people will not trust you with their money if you are not trustworthy. So we have the biggest credit union. And look at Switzerland, my people. If we involve in finance alone, we can be like Switzerland, just finance. Plus engineering, we can be like China. Because the Chinese Communist Party is made up of predominantly engineers. Now that is Garwa. The rioting and going on the streets continues. It's never going to stop. Things might not get easy as we think. Fair? And you can't control the masses. The leader has to be speaking right now. Issa Chiruma should be making speeches right now, guiding the population. As that leader that will lead this country. Even if they have to protest, guide the protest. Be that leader. Demonstrate competence. Let's wrap up. Now, my people, long before Germany, the Tikar kingdoms were united by kinship, trade, and spirituality, not by colonial lines. The real reunification we seek is the reunification of our ancestral values with our modern institutions, not the fake one imposed by colonial administrators. Aijo did not only change the constitution, he changed the language that described our reality. And when a people adopt false words, they inherit false history. That is what is confusing everyone in this country. False history, false interpretation of words. Do you choose to gain independence by joining? They heard, do you choose to gain independence by rejoining? Just that rejoining, that prefix changes everything. Fair? We must restore the true vocabulary of our freedom. That is the first step towards transformation. You change your words. It was supposed to be a federation that was never ratified, and not absorption. Distinction. Consent, not conquest. You can't lead people by force based on your colonial mind that started with Germany. We are Tikar. We have a heritage that goes way back before Germany set foot in Cameroon. Before the Portuguese even set foot in Cameroon. This is true liberation for black people in this area. Fair? Only then, when we make these adjustments, can the Tikar Highlands and the entire British Cameroon can reclaim the dignity of truth. The entire Cameroon will only reclaim freedom when they accept truth. If not, poverty, fleeing out of the country, no jobs, corrupt government, corrupt administration will continue throughout this country. Fair? Yeah. So we need civic education in Cameroon. We don't have to continue propagating falsehood. Ayijo and Foncha, they came together with an idea to create a nation that will be federal by nature. And that never happened because they never ratified the union. And so with that, there will be no peace in this country. The gods of the Tikar is awake. The gods of the Tikar people is awake. Pick your flags and chant to the government of Cameroon and the troops that have been stationed in the Tikar land to leave that land. From that day, true freedom will start in this country. Again, pick your flags, drums, go on the street chanting. Instruct your government and the military of La République du Cameroon to evacuate the Tikar land. And when they do that, peace will start in Cameroon. Prosperity will start in Cameroon. If not, poverty, stagnation, fleeing out of the country, tribalism will continue in this country for a very long time. And you will do nothing to that president because you are perpetuating illegality, falsehood. You are holding a people hostage and want freedom. And don't say you don't have power. You have power to get into bars, have conversations about German Cameroon, how we were one under Germany. So have the same courage to get into those bars and talk about how your soldiers can leave the United Kingdoms of Tikar, leave Northwest, leave Bamenda. Share that with your people. Do that in soccer clubs. Do that in Jangi groups. That it is time for those in La République du Cameroon to face the truth about the history of this country. Do that and you will find freedom. You cannot build anything on falsehood.